One of my students, Cody came up to me with this idea for a musical about this romantic World War II love story about an Irish immigrant who's fighting for the Americans. And I said, oh, that's great. And he said, yeah, I already have these songs written.
One of the songs in the show called Think of Home. That was actually the first song ever written for the show. And I was playing it, and then I stumbled across this structure, and I was like, alrighty, let's add some words to this. This sounds cool. And then it just turned into a giant what if. I was like, this really sounds like a song that would be sung like at a church pew for a priest that's about to send off soldiers. And I was like, yeah, I want to make this happen.
Sound off 3, 4.
Cody is fantastically talented. You know, he just sits down and writes gorgeous music, and it's dramatic, you know, because songs for musicals have to have a dramatic purpose. They're not just, they have to be more than catchy. They have to be catchy and tell a story. And he's just super talented at that. And he played some for me, and I said, well, let's find you a playwright. And we thought the chair of our department is an excellent playwright.
At first I volunteered. I said, well, look, why don't you, I asked him to storyboard it, and I was like, okay. I said, well, why don't you let me try my hand at maybe writing the first scene. And so I wrote the first scene, and then I wrote the second scene.
I was able to work the storyboard from his writing and his writing from my music. It turned into a symbiotic relationship on how this story really progressed.
The music in a musical has the #1 requirement of continuing to tell the story, but it's told at a moment in the story in which the words simply aren't enough by themselves. So that's the way that you have to approach it, which is really where it comes into the collaboration, because you're telling the exact same story. Otherwise you get the story and then the story stops and then we're going to sing a song and then we're going to pick the story back up. Doesn't work that way at all. There are some musicals that is the case, but that's what you fight against. The music has to move the story forward just like the dialogue does. So this is where we have to work in tandem with each other and as we're developing the story.
I have a friend who works at the Gallery Players, which is an off-Broadway theater in New York, and they do a new musical series, and I thought, oh, this would be great to do a reading of. So I wrote my friend and I said, hey, we'd be interested in doing this for Overtures, their new musical series, and she said, well, send us a script, and then they loved it, and they were like, great, we would love for you to produce it. This is fantastic for the Conservatory of Theater and Dance because this doesn't happen on the university level anywhere. Very rarely do you develop a show and bring it to New York. I can't think of any other school that has done this. I know Cody and Ken have been working on probably for 1.5 years now.
We are 2 writers who are, he's working on his part, I'm working on my part, we communicate. Like every single day whenever I have a revision, I send it to him. And I say, this is what, so every time that there's, right now we probably have, I don't know, probably 75 different drafts.
When I'm in the cafeteria, I don't know why, maybe it's just the atmosphere, because I can look out and see the river and I can see the bridge and I can just kind of clear myself from everything. And then I'm able to just go repeatedly, one after another. I remember sitting down and writing 4 songs in about an hour.
It's the first time that a student and a faculty member have ever collaborated to do a musical that is going to be our main stage flagship musical next year. I'm proud.